Hey everybody, I'm Brian Fleming, co-founder of Marriage BattlePlan, where we teach you how to communicate clearly with your spouse so your marriage will make it. And today, I want to talk to you about something that happens sometimes that is not very comfortable, but it has to be dealt with. And that is how to regain trust after an affair. That's rough. That's hard. There's a lot of different factors that probably played into that. There's no easy way to really lead up to it. There's betrayal. The biggest thing with an affair is that there's broken trust. And one reason that's so detrimental is that trust is something that you cannot reestablish quickly, or even establish for the first time quickly. It has to be earned over time. And once that's broken by somebody close to you, it can be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to regain that trust. And so today I want to share with you a couple of quick tips for how you can regain that trust if you're the person who did that. All right. Now, the first thing obviously is owning it. You can't blame it on your spouse. If you went out and had an affair, whether it was a physical, sexual affair with somebody else, or maybe it was an emotional affair with somebody you were talking to at the office and you were confiding in them, to me it's the same thing, because you're basically you're growing yourself with another person in a different direction than you are with your spouse, the one you're supposed to be with. All right. So the first thing with rebuilding trust is time. It's not fast. Time and owning it. If you did it, just tell your spouse, hey, I did it. I messed up. The thing about it is this: when you admit that you did something and you completely own it, not just a little bit or, yeah, I own it, but no, if you did it, own it. When you own it, there's not a lot anybody can do to take shots at you anymore. You kind of take the ammo out of the enemy's hands because you've already admitted it. And that's the first sign of integrity and reestablishing your integrity. Now, the second thing is this: do consistent behaviors that prove that you've changed and that you've decided that you're not going to do that anymore. You're going to have to regain the trust of your spouse. You're going to have to actually do things that often you don't want to do, or it's in their favor and not yours, or it's uncomfortable for you, but you do it because you are committed to reestablishing that trust. Here's the thing about these actions. Sometimes they will require like a personal sacrifice. So we're all about the military battle plan here, because love is a battlefield, as Pat Benatar said in that famous classic rock song. And war just makes sense. The structure, I hate war, but war and battlefields, the way they're structured and how you communicate on them, it just makes sense, and it translates over to marriage, which is why we do this. And so if you remember the movie Braveheart, there was a guy, obviously William Wallace was the main character, but I believe the other guy's name was Robert the Bruce. I think he was Irish, if I remember. Maybe not Irish, but anyways, he wanted to align with William Wallace. He basically idolized him and he wanted to have the courage like he had, but he just didn't feel he had it. And then he aligned with William Wallace. But when things got really bad in battle, he actually pulled his guys away, and it hurt William Wallace. And he actually got him captured. And so all in all, in the end, he had betrayed that trust, and he almost couldn't live with himself. He eventually came back in a battle and charged into battle knowing full well he was going to die, but he decided to redeem himself by not letting the last thing he did to William Wallace be a betrayal. So he was committed to doing anything pretty much because it would cost him his life in battle. Now that's just a movie. It's based on a true story, but it's just a movie. But it's no different in your marriage. I have a friend who did a ridiculous amount of deployments to the Middle East during the War on Terror, and came back, had this same issue, ended up slipping up, had some stuff going on in his head. There was some infidelity, there were affairs, and they were one dotted line away from signing the divorce papers. They sold their home, they were done, they were finished, their family was ruined, almost. Until he owned it. Two, he committed to his wife that he would do anything, no matter what, and no matter how long it took, to regain her trust. And I'll tell you right now, they've been married over 20 years, and they have completely redeemed the story of their marriage. They're happily married. They're great. They mentor other couples now. And so it's very possible if both people want it. It's not going to be easy. But here's one thing he did. I always remember him telling me this story. He would, they'd be sitting at a restaurant, and he would have to run to the restroom. Well, he would get up and he would take his phone with him. Well, if you're a wife who's been cheated on, what do you think the propaganda going through his wife's head was? Why did he take his phone to the bathroom? Who's he texting? Who is he talking to? What's her name? That wasn't helping him very much. So he decided to literally sacrifice something that he wanted to do, and he intentionally did things to make sure his wife was having this trust rebuilt. So whenever they'd be out at a restaurant, he realized, you know what? I'm going to leave my phone on the table if I go to the restroom. I'm not going to take it with me, because that causes my wife to wonder if I'm talking to somebody else. And so little things like that, over time, he found little things he could do, and he committed to continue doing them. It was a little personal sacrifice to him. That's one thing of many that he did, but it cost him something. He had to own it. He had to do things, and sometimes it was a sacrifice to him that showed his wife that she was more important and that he was trustworthy. And it wasn't rebuilt over a week or a month. All right, this could take several months or even several years, depending on your situation. So my question to you is this: what if you've been guilty of this, whether it's an emotional or a physical sexual affair that you've had outside your marriage, and you're trying to redeem your marriage now? 1, own it completely. 2, what can you do to, over time, gradually show your spouse and earn back that trust? Show them that you're trustworthy and that you're committed to them, and it doesn't matter what you have to do or how long it's going to take, that you're in it for the long haul. If you do that, you maximize your chances of making it and redeeming your marriage. So, do you have an opinion here? What tip would you have for somebody who says, hey, I had this infidelity, I'm trying to regain trust, what should I do? Leave a comment below and let us know. What would you say? I mean, there's probably a lot of great answers, but this is one I've seen in particular work very well for somebody close to me. And if you want more tips, just go to marriagebattleplan.com, where we give you combat-proven tips for communicating on the battlefield of marriage. And you can also, if it's reopened yet, you can also register for a live workshop where we teach you proven military battle strategies on how to create a battle plan for your marriage, so you and your spouse walk away with one sheet of paper, one very simple, clear battle plan that addresses a problem you have in your marriage and how to overcome it so you can stay married and your marriage will make it and you can thrive. You're not just going to be one of these couples that they're just married, but happily married, and you've grown together and you're united together and you're happily married. Go to marriagebattleplan.com to learn more about that. Leave your comments below. We'd love to hear from you.